CPU usage is only like at 8 to 10% right now. Okay, we're good. What is up on the U-Box, guys? This is TopHat Productions 115 coming at you with a long overdue video. This is a TXP-Network update and other things just rolled into one video. There's no structure to this video. This is going to be more of me just talking while playing with something in the background. So allow me to fill you in on everything that's been going down so far. It is currently the college semester. Finals week is approaching in my case, and so far I'm passing all of my classes. Neato, right? Nothing to worry about. But the thing is, first of all of the TXP-Network websites went down. TXP-Network.tk. But I'm going to be renewing that domain name soon, so I'll be able to keep the domain name, but I don't have a website for it to point to, unfortunately. Due to unforeseen, unfathomable events, aka unexpected job training during the summer, I will not be able to work a job, and you know what that means? Yeah, the new workstation I was supposed to get, which was supposed to allow for me to do Project Personal Data Center, that was supposed to also allow for me to start doing server hosting. But without the new workstation, I will not be able to actually start local server hosting and testing. Which means I will not be able to, let me check CPU usage here, yeah, 46, okay. I will not be able to actually bring the websites back up for a very long time. To put this into perspective, the websites went down, I think, last month, early this month, and they've been down and unable to be accessed for most of April, if I remember correctly. And it's going to remain that way for probably the rest of this year, unless Freezoid sites come back up. I'm not really counting on it. But even if they do, the plan was to start moving towards localized hosting on my end, so that you guys didn't have to, so that none of us had to be at the mercy of Freezoid and whether or not they decide to stick around. I could try to move everything to iFastNet, which is, I guess, like their sister company or something like that, because my data is accessible there, but that takes a lot of setup time, and to be quite honest, I would end up having to start over and losing any user-generated content on those sites that we had before, possibly including user accounts and stuff like that. I don't really know how to actually transfer the databases over yet, but I could, I guess, try to figure that out. I would have to go in and pretty much reinstall all the websites, which would take at least a week, because then I have to do unit testing and also update the software being used on the back end. Long story short, it'll probably just be more worthwhile to rebuild the websites anyway, seeing that I was already planning on rebuilding them months, if not maybe a year ago. But once again, that rebuild, coding everything by hand, can't really happen without some way of testing everything. And with Freezoid down, next best thing would have been to just start testing locally instead on my end, and allowing you guys to actually access it as a beta test program so that you guys could actually do bug reporting and, like, pretty much, long story short, without the local hosting option, things are just not going to be able to move forward. And that also affects game servers, like the server that would have possibly been available for this mod pack that I'm playing on right now, that I managed to develop. But, yeah, due to Project Personal Data Center getting delayed, I don't have any of those local hosting options, unfortunately. So that's the bad news. A lot of things are getting delayed, and my video on ESXi and how to use that is also getting delayed, which just means, well, things aren't going to move as quickly because all that has to wait until next year, practically. I know it sucks, but we're going to be in this for the long haul until I can actually get another job, because I was supposed to get a job this summer, but I have not been able to because of these surprise events. Now on to some not so upsetting news. As I said before, I'm going to be renewing the TXP-Network.tk domain name, So for the first time, we will have a proper domain name, and it will be around for a very long time. In addition to that, I am currently playing on a mod pack that has been developed specifically for TXP-MC whenever that comes back. This mod pack comes with a plethora of things. I won't really go over that too much, but long story short, we are available on CurseForge. https://minecraft.curseforge.com/projects/FIIK. I will make sure to put a link to it in the description, but long story short, this small bit of good news is we have a mod pack developed. For those of you who are still interested in TXP-MC, pretty much any Minecraft gaming stuff that we were doing and just any gaming server stuff in general that we were working on, this is one of the active projects, along with the Minecraft server control panel that we were working on, that we are still working on, that has to be updated to the latest version of PHP over the summer. And if I remember correctly, yes, TXP Cloud and TXP VOS is still being developed, but development on those is a lot slower. That's just because of the fact that I have to actually set up the environments for those. Once again, once I get the new workstation, things will be a lot faster. But until then, it's pretty much going to be just one project at a time, and it's going to be slow. But I'll still be working on things. The primary focus of this video from here on is just going to be on the mod pack, because this is the one thing that I really want to emphasize. This is the one thing that's going very, very well and hasn't been postponed. First of all, this thing is running with, I think, 63 or 65, maybe 66 mods, and a shader pack. The shader pack is Seus, and in a couple of months, if not a year, they're going to be releasing a ray-traced version of this thing, I think, for free. But even if they don't, there is a ray-traced version of this shader pack. So imagine, just imagine what this looks like in full ray-traced glory. Yeah. First of all, the visuals are going to be pretty beast. Second of all, the mods included in the mod pack are as follows. Now, I'm not going to list them all out because there's like 60 of these things, right? But whenever you get the chance to, just pause the video, take a look through. The focus of this mod pack, well, there is no focus. Just look at the actual description on the overview page. But I'm pretty sure that you guys might find this just a tad bit interesting. This is a mod pack for 1.12.2. And right now, wait, before I even go into this, with the shader pack disabled, and with all 60-something mods running in the background, I was able to get this mod pack working on my laptop. Mind you, this is an AMD A10 5750M. 2011 4-core AMD APU. Not the best thing to work with in 2019. But I got this mod pack running at practically 60 FPS on that laptop with like medium settings. And all I had to do was, once I got into a world, I just waited a few seconds to let the chunks load. From there I could move around comfortably, and the FPS barely ever dropped below 30. And this is on an old laptop with 8 gigs of RAM. No dedicated GPU, no nothing. Now with the shader pack enabled, things got a little bit different. I was dropping into 30s pretty quickly, but it still looks better than default Minecraft. And I can assure you, it's pretty immersive if you ask me. I've been doing testing with a friend, and pretty much everything should work now. More details can be found on the Modpack page, but just a short preview. First of all, we have locks. I'll just go into just enough items from here. This is the new creative inventory. If I scroll through here, I might run into a few new items. But yeah, we have crossbows. We have lots of things here, and I'm not going to be able to show you everything. But long story short is, we have a lot of ideas in this mod pack that we want to test out. And to be quite honest, I think that these mods all really work together pretty well. Now, my suggestion is that when you go into this mod pack on like the first day, this is gonna sound pretty elementary, but I think you guys, when you first get into this thing, you'll want to spend the first day just punching for trees and avoiding the mines. So don't go near any holes in the ground where mobs might spawn, because I've seen some instances during testing of this mod pack. Now keep in mind I have it on peaceful right now, right? So I'm not going to get attacked and mugged by a skeleton or a creeper or anything. But with the difficulty set to just normal, the number of hostile mobs that spawn seems to have increased with this mod pack. So, for example, like in default Minecraft, if you go near a few caves or something like that, hey, you might find like maybe 5 to 6 zombies near the entrance. And if it's like a big one, you might like find 10. No. With this mod pack, I went near the entrance of a cave, and like 15 or 20 of them came spilling out of nowhere. So I'm thinking that this mod pack might have actually increased like the passive difficulty and just the number of mobs being spawned in at any given point. But even if it doesn't, the difficulty just in general seems to have increased when it comes to survivability. So I would definitely suggest spending the light hours just punching trees. And then from there, well, don't even try to spend time killing animals half the time, because something tells me that it's going to be pretty hard to find animals at times. Well, actually, you know what? Go on and actually start killing animals if you want to. But it just depends on like how things go. Like if you find like a ton of animals near your spawn area, go wild and kill them for meat. But if you can't find a bunch of animals, something that I tend to do in Minecraft, no matter what mod pack or anything that I'm playing, I'll usually just start punching grass if I can to try to find seeds. Because usually it's much easier, especially if you don't have a sword starting out, but it's usually much easier to just go around punching grass and collecting seeds because they aren't running from you. And then later, you can make a hoe out of pretty much anything, including the wood that you punched trees for earlier, and you can just like grow wheat and then make bread. And that's like really easy to have. In addition to that, the only other thing that you need for it is dirt, and maybe if you want to, you can add a water bucket, but you don't really need a water bucket to grow wheat unless you just want to grow it faster. But if you're patient, you really don't need it. In that case, you'll have pretty much practically a free food source right off the bat, and you won't have to work much, and you won't have to worry about the number of mobs spawning in your area and knowing whether or not you have, I guess, a consistent source of meat. Because right now I have like 2 pigs spawn near me, but I'm also in a forest. So imagine this in normal difficulty, and there might be a few creepers and a few zombies hiding out in there in any areas where there's like decent shade, right? Oh, and we also have a sheep here, like 2 sheep. So I got it off pretty good. But depending on where you spawn, it might not be easy to find the mobs that will provide you the meat. And if you spawn near cows, well, that makes things even easier for you, I guess. But I would definitely suggest trying to establish a long-term food source, like early on for this mod pack. So farming might actually be something that you want to start out with early, even if it's just wheat. And if you spawn near a village, that's even better. That's a really quick way to get started. So, I don't really have any suggested seeds. I mean, I always use Nyan, N-Y-A-N, but I don't really think that you guys actually want to start out with that, because that might be, like, I don't know, boring for you. I'm pretty sure that most of you have already played on that seed before. Aside from that, the one mod that I'm really excited for in this pack is going to be wings. And it's partially because I've used it in other mod packs. But the Wings mod really makes it easy to get around. And on top of that, in a world like this, like really, really massive worlds where we have Sky Islands and the Aether mod and stuff like that, just being able to use that alone is going to really be a boon to success and also just getting around in general. I really suggest getting Wings as soon as you possibly can, if not a leacher or something to let you get your feet off the ground, because that will definitely make it easier to get around. We also have waystones in this mod pack. We have waystones and journey map. I honestly suggest just taking a waystone from one of the villages that you go to, especially if it's one that's, I don't know, not useful to you anymore, or has been raided or something like that. Like a village that's just not functioning, that really... You'll know what I mean when I say a village that's kind of done for, right? Like one that's already been kind of destroyed or something like that. Like, if you encounter a village that just isn't doing too well, I guess, you could, like, take the waystone from that one and, like, put it somewhere near your house, I guess, if you want, like, an easy way to, like, teleport to your house. That's my suggestion, because I've done that before, and it actually works pretty well. I did this with the Mage Bending mod pack, and I have to say it makes it easier to get around, especially just due to the fact that many villages will have their own waystones. So every time you reach a village, guess what? You can always teleport back to your house. And on top of that, any other areas that have waystones will allow for you to teleport back relatively easily, and you'll have points at which you can pretty much go to in your world pretty much anywhere at that point if you explore enough. In addition to that, let's see, on a server world, you might want to turn on things like keep inventory, but I mean, that's really up to you. On the Mage Bending server that I'm currently on, I think we have keep inventory turned on, but to be quite honest, that might not exactly be necessary because of the journey map mod, and also because of the fact that we have Corral. I'm trying to make sure that I pronounce that correctly. Is it Corral? Control F. Yeah. We have Corral tombstones. So if you end up dying, what you can do is simply use journey map and head back to your death point, and you'll find your tombstone there with all of your items. But if you don't want to go through that, you can simply disable Corral tombstone and instead use the keep inventory game rule. I do not know if I still remember how to do it, but I guess I can try. Is it /game rule keep inventory true? Yes. So with game mode, well, not game mode, game rule keep inventory true, you won't even really have to worry about that, and it'll make it much easier for the more casual players, because death will have much less of an impact on gameplay, except for if you just don't have an easy way to get back to your house. In which case, as I said before, Wings makes everything easier. So that'll just be another incentive for you to go in and get Wings, so that if you do have one of those instances where you get stranded away from your house, even if you have all of your items, Wings will make it faster for you to actually move around and get back to where you want it to be. So, aside from that, we also have a few Tinker's Construct-based mods and add-ons. I'm not really going to go into full detail about those, but long story short, things are going to be very, very interesting. Keep in mind that when you first spawn into this world, you will get a locked chest. You know what that means? Yeah, starter chest means nothing until you find the key, and last I checked, you can't really destroy these that easily. So what you're gonna want to do is just take the torches that are near the chest, set a waypoint in journey map for the chest so that you don't forget it, and then from there, go ahead and start punching wood. In other words, this beginner chest is going to be primarily useless except for as just a beginner source of torches. Aside from that, we also have the Ruins mod in this mod pack. For any of you who have already used it, that's going to be something that I don't really have to explain for. But for those of you who haven't used the Ruins mod pack before, It adds, as you would expect, ruins and other abandoned structures into your world. Things such as abandoned houses, which may or may not have loot, and things of that sort. So be on the lookout for those, and expect, if you're playing on anything that's above peaceful, there to be mobs there. Especially if the structure happens to have like a basement or something like that. Most of these ruins can be, okay, not most of them, but some of them can actually be converted into livable structures, as long as you're willing to put in some effort. And if they do have loot, that just makes things easier for you. So if you end up spawning near, like, I don't know, an abandoned house, I say go for it. But that house could also be a pretty decent starting point for exploration. Do keep in mind that some of those ruins can be pretty dangerous, especially with mob spawning and stuff like that. I mean, that's obvious for most experienced Minecraft players, but for anyone who's new, yeah. I mean, while the abandoned houses can be livable if converted, there might be mobs in there, so don't do anything stupid around those. Make sure to have like a sword ready. Aside from that, what else was I going to mention? The sleeping mechanics in this game are very, very different. That's all I'm going to say. Don't expect it to be easy. You're going to want to make sure that wherever you set down to sleep is actually safe. Oh yeah, in the Google Drive version of this mod pack, the one that's being stored on Google Drive, we have added Lost Cities and Lost Souls. Those two mods alone are going to increase the overall difficulty of this mod pack by a lot if you're not careful. For all intents and purposes, what I suggest you do is simply set those two so that they aren't the default world generation, and instead they can be accessed through a separate, I guess, cities sort of dimension, an abandoned cities dimension with dungeons. I suggest that because you're probably going to want to keep the default Minecraft overworld, and that'll just make gameplay overall a lot more feasible for people who are new to Minecraft and for people who are new to that mod in general. Because the Lost Souls add-on for that mod pack just makes everything a lot harder, and I added that in. So make sure to keep your default overworld. Do not replace that with Lost Cities. I highly recommend it. Let's see. I'm like going through like a whole list of mods. Oh, by the way, we have a Roman backup, as you can see, so that makes things a lot easier for server management. For the most part, yeah, this mod pack was actually developed and tested primarily on local machines, not on servers. So you're going to have to do some setup if you do try to host this on a server, but I highly recommend that you test it out with a few friends. A group of 10 is recommended to make resource gathering a lot easier, and for people who are used to doing different methods of mining and stuff like that, just be careful. As usual, don't dig straight down, and to be quite honest, I am not even aware of the full scope of the number of new structures that have been added to Minecraft as a result of this mod pack, but there are a lot, so be especially careful with mining. We also have new caves generation, so things are just going to be all around a lot more challenging, and you're going to have to pay attention a lot more. Aside from that, still couldn't get the Millionaire mod working, unfortunately, so we aren't going to have that many exciting villagers anytime soon. Once I do get that working, though, that will be very nice. That'll spice up villages in general. To be quite honest, there isn't really much else to talk about for this mod pack, though, aside from these amazing shaders and also the nice sky islands. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to creative, if I can. Because I just want you guys to see what's up here. We have like sky islands and all sorts of things, and I think you'll definitely want to see it. Definitely interesting, right? And oh my goodness, you can really hear my machine kicking in here. You hear that? If you can hear my fans kicking in, you can definitely tell the combination of mods and shader pack really, really does test your machine at times. So be careful and just try to optimize your settings as necessary. I suggest starting with low settings, like the ones that are included that have been optimized for low-end machines, and then from there just turning things up slowly over time to make sure that your machine can actually handle it, because with the amount of things that are just going on in this mod pack, you're going to want to keep a high frame rate so you can react to things on the fly. I truly suggest starting with the shader pack disabled unless you have at least like a GTX 1060 or an RX 570 sitting in your system. Aside from that, I'm just going to fly around a little bit, and I'm going to really just shut my mouth and just let the world visuals take over from here. Let me just go ahead and grab that. By the way, we also have dynamic lighting, like totally awesome, right? So I'll just come back for this by setting a little bit of a waypoint here. Let's make a new one. Starter, chest, save, close, back to game. And now we head out into the wilderness. And as you can see, I've already been foraging for some materials. So I'm just going to go foraging for more materials. In fact, what I'm going to do... Oh, and as you can see, we have a free crafting GUI here, so the crafting table, while on the go, really becomes useless. I'm going to go on and make a wooden axe. Just to speed things along, just a tad bit. There we go. There we go. I got that in my hand. And switch. Now to that one. Let's do this. Just gonna do a little demo of the tree chopper mod if I can. So there we go. That is my demo of the tree chopper mod. Sorry if it's just completely dark. Let me go and check video settings. Yeah, brightness is bright, not moody. It is truly just that dark. Alright. I travel a little further. Grab another one. As you can see, taking down trees in general just takes a little bit longer initially, but due to the tree chopper mod, things will go relatively quickly. This one's going to be a pain. Alright, yeah. Definitely going to be a pain. So let's not do that one. Let's start with one of you. tree sticks. As you can see, taking out a tree in this mod is a lot more difficult. And using your hands will not always work. So let's see here. Are there any easy to take down trees? This works. Let's keep on talking on this one. I would skip ahead, but you know what? Let's try a little something here. Alright. Perfect spot, right? This a little bit quicker. And then from there, we will also make one of these. Now let's see if that tree goes down just a tad bit faster. Yeah, not too quickly. What about you? So as you can see with this mod pack, things are not going to be as easy as you're used to with punching trees just starting out. But there are some things you can do to get ahead. For example, like what I'm doing right now, taking an axe to some of these low-lying branches to try to collect resources. And also going for much smaller trees like I did in the beginning. Also, chopping down trees in general will actually waste away your axes a lot faster in this one, from my personal experience. So just be ready to replace your axe on a regular basis. I highly suggest that you keep around enough materials to replace things. As you can see, chopping down that big tree right there, while it did go down, just ate away at half of the durability of this axe, so it's not going to last for much longer. But in exchange for that increased amount of time, we'll let you know. That whole entire tree went down pretty fast. Oh, and also, if you want to, yeah, take a look. Shearer pack really makes the rain look a lot cooler. In general, yeah, trees also provide a little bit of cover from rain, which I find to be quite interesting. Aside from that, there's not really much else I want to show about this mod pack because I don't want to spoil it all. So you guys can go on and grab a download of this, and I hope to see a few videos about this mod pack soon. Make sure to also say hi to the mod creators of everyone who made the mods in this mod pack. And to be quite honest, I hope to see these mods continue to be updated for later versions of Minecraft. 1.14, if I remember just correct, yeah, 1.14 just came out, if I remember correctly, and I would definitely like to be able to push a version of this mod pack for 1.13 and maybe even 1.14 in the near future. I know it's a bit ambitious, so I won't really ask for that. It would be cool, but I know it's probably not going to happen. It takes a lot of work to do that type of thing for all those mods to get updated to newer versions. So nonetheless, this mod pack is available for 1.12. Please make sure to give it a try. Be sure to check out the mod pack. Be sure to check out the creators of the mods in this mod pack, and just look into the mods to see if you're interested. And be sure to also help and support those mod creators, because they put a lot of time and effort into everything to make things the way they are in these mods, and especially to make sure that these mods work together so that we can have mod packs like this. That's all that I have to say, and I hope that you guys are having a decent spring up in the northern hemisphere, or for you guys down on the southern hemisphere. I'm not going to be able to say that off the top of my head. But anyway, I hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.